Hello, teacher.
Hello. Well, guys, once again, good evening. Welcome to our session. We're about to finish not only to finish cycle 4, but also to finish our A2 level. Tomorrow we will have the exam. We will talk about the parameters of the exam later, although I know that up to this point, you are already familiarized with that information, but like that's the protocol, to talk about the different aspects related to the exam. Guys, for tonight, we have the project presentation. We have been talking about all the different aspects. You have been working on this, let's say project, yes, from the first cycle. Well, some of you have been like taking part of the group after the first cycle, after the second, but that hasn't really been a problem. So the idea is to make that presentation. Give me a second. Give me a moment. Okay. Okay, so before we actually start, because the idea is that we have our presentations very organized with all the parameters that we shared the other day. Remember that we also have one administrative idea to do before we finish our project. And well, I'm gonna change it to Spanish a little bit. Como ustedes saben, una de las tareas administrativas es realizar la encuesta, ¿listo? De satisfacción. Siempre se va a realizar al final de cada ciclo. Y como ustedes ya se han dado cuenta, la mayoría, bueno, para los nuevos estudiantes les cuento, literalmente todos tienen que responder la encuesta. Cuando les digo todos, es todo, se hace un seguimiento. Cuando se hace una revisión a las respuestas, pues digamos que evidentemente es de forma anónima, ¿listo? Los docentes realmente como que no recibimos exactamente el comentario de quién, por ponerlo de alguna manera. Les voy a enviar el link mientras hay ruido. Okay, guys. Thank God. The noise is off. Para quienes acabaron de ingresar, vuelvo a enviar el link. Les contaba, bueno, digamos que recordaba, bueno, entre tantas cosas que cubrimos en cada ciclo. Tenemos para el día de hoy la encuesta de satisfacción. Como ustedes saben, la mayoría siempre se hace al final de cada ciclo. Yo les contaba también a los nuevos participantes que siempre se tiene que contestar y la coordinadora nos dice, tales y tales estudiantes hacen falta. Entonces, lo ideal es que la contesten todo ya en este momento. De lo contrario, se hace como el seguimiento en el segundo bloque, toca enviarles el correo y literalmente no hay descanso hasta que no la contesten. ¿Listo? Guys, entonces, mientras están en el proceso de contestar la encuesta, voy a tomar asistencia. Y de paso, pues no le robamos tiempo, por decirlo así, a la parte de las presentaciones. Yo quiero que... Sí, Karen, cuénteme.
Esto, ¿cómo es el código de estudiante? ¿Dónde lo puedo ver?
Ah, ok, Karen. Se lo voy a enviar por interno acá. Por el chat.
For me
Listo.
too, please.
Santiago también vi que había levantado la mano. Welcome.
Yes, teacher, the same question.
Okay, perfect. I'm gonna send it now.
Teacher,
Yes.
can you please send again the link, please?
Sure. Give me a moment. Listo. There it is. Manuel, do you have your student's code?
I think, let me check.
Okay.
No, teacher.
Okay, let me send it too. So you can also answer the survey.
Teacher, for me too, please, the code. I don't remember.
Teacher, for me, the second question, too, please.
The second question. Alguien más me dijo el código, pero la voz estaba muy bajita.
Mi teacher, Beatriz.
Para mí.
But Beatriz, but you are here from cycle 1.
I don't remember today.
Okay, and also Mendy, I guess?
Yes, teacher, please. I can't remember. I lost my memory today.
Hopefully only with the code, not for the presentation. There you go. Okay. Welcome. Well, guys, I'm going to interrupt you while you take the survey, well, to take attendance. Karen Victoria Acevedo. Okay. Steven Santiago Fonseca.
Here.
Okay. Sergio David Gómez.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Kiara Lisette Martínez.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Jorge Jair Moreno.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Diego Fernando Olarte.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Dana Valentina Ortiz.
Present, Miss.
Okay. Manuela Ortiz.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Joan Sebastián Paón.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Beatriz Omaira Pedraza.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Hamilton Peña.
Present, teacher, present.
Okay. Xiomara Caterina Rincón.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Jessica Paola Ríos.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Catherine Alexandra Rodríguez.
Present, Miss.
Okay. Marlon Yesid Sánchez.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Mendy Fabián Santa.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Manuel Alberto Sepúlveda.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Karen Juliet Torres.
Present.
Okay. María Alejandra Vega.
Present teacher.
Okay. Vanessa Zambrano.
Present teacher.
Okay. And Natalia Navarro.
Present.
Okay. Perfect, guys. I think that you are about to finish, but I'm going to give you a couple of more minutes.
Teacher,
Yes.
una pregunta es que a nosotros no nos dejó subir el documento.
Sí, porque se cerraba a las 6. A las 6 en punto se cerró.
Ay, profe, a nosotros nos ocurrió lo mismo.
Que se cerró a las 6. Entonces, si le iban a subir a las 6:01, ya no dejaban. Bueno. Igual era, no es que tenga un impacto propiamente, sino que pues ya la versión final terminada, ¿no? Con las correcciones que se hicieron en los ciclos pasados, pero obviamente ustedes tienen el material, es como para mi evidencia. ¿Listo? But don't worry. I guess I'm gonna give you 2 more minutes. And then we begin.
Teacher,
Yes.
teacher, pero si no se subió no pasa nada.
No, no pasa nada. Es como una organización mía, por decirlo así. Quería tener, bueno, igual ahorita si quieren les habilito. Es como para yo tener la evidencia de las presentaciones finales, pero la rúbrica de evaluada es el performance del día de hoy. Entonces, don't worry. Pero de todas maneras lo voy a habilitar para que ustedes también queden con la tranquilidad de que ahí queda su evidencia.
Sí, porque le tenía un problemita y ya lo solucioné al doctor.
Ok. Let me make the adjustment. I think that you have already finished with the survey, guys. Listo, guys. Si actualizan la página, ya debería permitirles que pueden subir el archivo, porque es el mismo link, solo que ya ahorita pueden volver a subirlo, digamos que sin problema, por ponerlo de alguna manera. Okay, guys. So, as you already know, for tonight, we have our project presentations. Tomorrow we will have the exam, but let's start one step at a time. In this case, based on the parameters that we had in our rubric, let's say rubric, no, this is not the rubric. The parameters that we had in our template, the idea is to make the, say, final proper presentation with all the information collected, in this case, talking about sports. Well, you are uploading your material, 6 p.m. And okay, remember to guide that you have 7 minutes, that all your cameras have to be turned on. In this case, talking about the administrative part. I'm sure that you already checked the rubric, the different aspects that are being assessed and also evaluated. And the idea is that in the 7 minutes, we can cover all the aspects that are supposed to be covered today. Okay, so we have 9 groups. I think that we are just in time to start. So I'm going to start with group number 6, which is about ice hockey. We have Catherine Alexandra, Karen Victoria, and Jorge Jair. Let me make the adjustment so you guys can share a screen. I'm going to officially stop sharing the screen because from now on, you guys are in charge.
Okay, teacher.
I'm going to write down your names in the meantime. Okay.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Guys, don't forget your cameras.
Karen is here. Hello, everyone. Good night. Today we were talking about ice hockey. My group is conformed about Jorge Moreno and Karen Acevedo.
History of ice hockey. Ice hockey is originated from the version of hockey-like games which were brought to North America by European immigrants and adapted for the continent's icy conditions. Early examples of ice hockey are matches being played on frozen rivers, lakes, and ponds, with the player using cheese cutter strapped to their boots.
Rules. These rules are designed to create a fair and exciting game for players and fans alike. Ice hockey is played on a hockey rink during normal match. There are 6 players on ice skates on the ice per side. One of them being a goaltender.
The objective of the game is to score goals by shooting a hard vulcanized rubber disc the puck into the opponent's goals nets at the opposite end of the ring. And there is a kind of penalties, minor penalties, 90 seconds, tripping, holding interference, and slap shots. Major penalties 5 minutes, body checking, spearing, flagrant falls, but ending. Misconduct penalties 10 minutes, abusive language, disrespect of the officials, action that inside of or bait opponents. Automatic ejection from the game for throwing equipment, automatic ejection from IM, play for fighting, play nicely, have fun, be safe.
Ice hockey positions. Hockey forwards, center, hockey defenseman, and hockey goalie. Special equipment. Helmet, knee guard, shoulder pads, elbow pads, gloves, hockey pants, shin pads, skates, mouse guard, practice jersey, hockey sticks, jock, hockey socks, and hockey bag.
In ice hockey, players use specialized equipment to facilitate the play of the game and for protection this is a sport where injuries are common. Therefore, all players are encouraged to protect their bodies from bruises and severe fractures. Special and important tournaments. There are many events in the international calendar for ice hockey and significant events in the national leagues. For example, Ice Hockey World Championship.
Karen, your microphone is off.
Sorry. And some events are ice hockey at the Winter Olympics. Ice hockey has been held as part of the Olympic Games since 1920. And next one is the Stanley Cup championships between the winner of the National Hockey Association, NHA, and the winner of Pacific Coast Hockey Association, PCH. And the next one is World Cup. Sorry. La anterior diapositiva. World Cup of Hockey is the third event was held in the 2016 and will continue every 4 years, organized by the National Hockey League and the National Hockey League Player Association. Ice Hockey World Championship, an annual event run by the International Ice Hockey Federation. The next one, please. Important people and things that excel in ice hockey. Some things like Montreal Canadiens, Toronto Maple Leaf, Detroit Red Wings, Boston Bruins, Pittsburgh Penguins, and some players, important players are Nicholas Suzuki, Austin Taylor Matthews, Dylan Lurkey, and Jonathan Erickson.
The world's best ice hockey teams. This is a list of the greatest champion of Lord Stanley's Cup. First, Montreal Canadiens. Second, Toronto Maple Leafs. Third, Detroit Red Wings. Ranking of the best ice hockey players of each team. Nicholas Suzuki. For August 10, 1999. He's a Canadian professional ice hockey center and captain of the Montreal Canadiens of the National Hockey League. Suzuki recorded his 35 point with an assist on Ilya Kovalchuk's game-winning goal against the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Austin Taylor Matthews, born September 17 in 1997. He is an American professional ice hockey center and alternate captain for the Toronto Maple Leafs of the National Hockey League. Matthews set the unofficial National Hockey League record for the most consecutive games with a shot goal to start a career. Dylan Larkin, born on July 30, in 1997. He is an American professional ice hockey player and captain of the Detroit Red Wings of the National Hockey League. On October 5, 2015, Larkin made the Red Wings final roster to the 2015-16 season, becoming the first 19 years old to debut on opening night. He becomes the first Red Wings teenager to score in the first National Hockey League game.
Well, guys, time's up. So I have to stop you right now. We actually gave you 1 more minute, guys. Be very careful with time because all of you have to pass tonight. I really hope. You're about to finish, right? This was the last slide? This is the last slide, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, perfect. See, notice that 7 minutes actually is not that enough. We may think that it is a lot of time. Actually, it isn't. Guys, thank you very much. Well, just a few things. Maybe you read a little bit too much in some aspects, in some moments. The idea, of course, was not to read as much as possible. But in general, you covered the topics, which was the important part. All the different elements from the project were presented. And well, guys, I want to thank you. That will be it.
Thank you, teacher.
Let's continue. In this case is going to be group number 3. Group number 3 is Vanessa and Xiomara. Guys, by the way, the ones that haven't sent the survey, please don't forget to do it.
Okay, teacher.
Un momento, teacher.
Okay.
Teacher, one moment. I don't have electric light.
Okay, Vanessa, don't worry. Yeah. Okay.
One moment.
Okay, teacher. Good evening, everyone. Vanessa Zambrano and me, Xiomara Rincon, will talk a little bit about basketball on topics like history, rules, special equipment, special tournaments, most important and recognized teams, and now our important players, and top 5 interesting facts about basketball. In the first place, why Disney? The name basketball comes from English and is made out of basket and ball. That is why this sport is also known as basketball. In the story, it is a modern game. It has its origins in a school in the United States in the year 1891. The creator of basketball was James Naismith. He studied physics education at Springfield College. In 14 days, he created a new game that could be played indoors and in confined space. And this new sport had to be easy to assimilate, but complex enough to arouse the interest of the students while they couldn't play soccer. Next, Vanessa.
The rules of basket are as follows. One, the ball can be thrown with one or two hands in any direction. It is allowed to tap the ball with one or both hands in any direction. Three, it is forbidden to run with the ball in the hands. The player must throw it from the place where he takes it. For the ball can only be held with the hands and not with the arms or with the body. The next is five, no shoulder charging, grabbing, pushing, hitting or typing. Opponent is allowed. The first violation of the rule constitute a foul. The second will disqualify the player. Six, by rule 3 and 4, it is not allowed to hit the ball with the fist. With the fist, the rule is penalties in the same which a rule 5. 7, if a team made 3 consecutive having made any in the same time interval, the opposing team will score a point. 8 points are awarded when the ball enters the basket, and 9 when the ball goes a bounce. It is thrown back into the field of play and will enter the possession of the field person to touch it. Okay. 10. The assistant referee watches over the plays and not the faults. 11. The main referee watches over the game and the ball. 12. The most consists of 4 period of 10 or 12 minutes each. Between quarters, there are 5 minutes break. Finally, rule 13, the team that get the most point is the winner. Now my partner will tell about special equipment.
Okay, special equipment. The pants can be short or Bermuda. Socks generally short and made of cotton. A sleeveless shirt made of cotton or synthetic material. Footwear, they had the shape of a boot to hold the ankle. In the special tournaments, is FIBA Intercontinental Cup, FIBA Olympic Qualifying Tournament, Men's Olympic Basketball Tournament, Basketball World Cup, and U19 Basketball World Championship.
Okay, the most important and recognized team In Boston, Celtics, and Los Angeles, Lakers and Golden State Warriors, Chicago Bulls, San Antonio Spurs, and Milwaukee Bucks. And these teams are mostly important American. And now you will meet the most important players in basket. Okay, in the table are the most important players. You can see the number of titles, also the average point, rebounds, and assists. The organization of the table is from highest to lowest point. In the first place are Michael Jordan. Jordan has a highest point, the Russell. But Michael fewer title than Russell. Russell has the most title with 11. Johnson has the most assistant with 11.2. James has the least title with 3. Abdul Jabbar has the least assistant with 3.6. We continue with the interesting facts of the wonderful sport.
Okay, top 5 interesting facts about basketball. In the top number 1, Professor Naismith studied the most demanding sport and to the most attractive of is to create the first basketball requirements. Top 2, the first basketball game was played with 2-piece basket. 3, the first basketball game was played in January 1892 with a soccer ball base because basketballs didn't yet exist.
Well, Vanessa, I have to stop you now. Excuse me, Xiomara.
Being influenced by the Maya Aztec culture, sign is similar to game origination for them. With this information, we conclude with the presentation. Thank you very much for your attention. We invite you to continue learning about the interesting sport.
Okay, thank you very much, Vanessa and Xiomara. Well, you had also an introduction. Also, you have like an ending for the presentation, as Xiomara already did. Just some things of pronunciation. Vanessa, with tripping, recognize the name of one of the teams, which was Lakers. And you said mostly important American. Talking about like the most important American teams. Probably we missed a word. Xiomara, in your case, equipment. You said Bermuda, talking about that piece of clothing, but I guess that you meant shorts. Qualifying, you said there are 5. I guess that you didn't notice that you said that one in Spanish. But ladies, thank you very much.
Thank you, teacher. Teacher, ¿sí se escuchó?
Sí, señora. No hubiera escuchado nada, les digo, no escucho.
Okay, thank you.
Don't
teacher.
worry. Okay, let's move now to group number 1. Diego Fernando, Manuel Sepúlveda, and Manuela Ortiz. In your case, you are going to talk about tennis. Guys, be like careful with time. You know, I set the timer and then you listen like the ring thing and I have to stop you. Otherwise, we wouldn't finish tonight.
Good evening, classmates and teacher. Today we talk about tennis. I'm Diego Mateus and my group mates are Manuel Ortiz and Manuel Sepúlveda. Can you hear me?
Yes, Diego.
Okay. The agenda for our presentation is as follows. First, I will talk about the history of tennis. Second, Manuela will talk about grid rivals, general rules, and special equipment. And finally, Manuel will talk about point system, tennis courts, and Grand Slam. Right, history of tennis. Tennis was created in 1874, 148 years ago, but its origin goes back thousands of years ago, in the ancient time when the Roman Empire was booming. It was until the year 1200 in France that this sport began to be formalized, but the person played with your hands. In 1874, when this sport was born, it was played with a wooden racket. At the time, the sport was called tennis, which means there it goes in French. Modern tennis can be played alone or in pairs. It must be played with a metal racket, a rumble ball, and a special uniform composed of shirt, shorts, tennis, and some optional accessories. On May 21 of 1881, the United States National Lawn Tennis Association was formed to standardize the rules and organize competitions. Now Manuela will talk about grid rivals.
Manuela, está muteada.
¿Ya me escuchan?
Yes.
Yes.
Ah, listo. Vamos a quitar los audífonos. Okay. Great rivals. Throughout its history, rivalries have emerged from this sport between its great referents, John McEnroe and Byron Bourne in the 80s, Monica Seles and Steffi Graf in the 90s, and in our time exists the Big Four. Is made up of Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal, Novak Djokovic, and Andy Murray, who have established themselves as the best players of our time for the last 10 years. The next one. Okay. This is the general rules. A ball must land within bounds for play to continue. If a player hits the ball outside of the bounds, this results in the loss of the point for them. Players or teams may not touch the net or the post or cross into the opponent's side. Players or teams may not carry the ball of the cachet with the racket. Players may not hit the ball twice. And finally, players must wait until the ball passes the net before they can return it. The next one, please. Special equipment. Tennis ball, that's the yellow thing you hit from one side of the court to the other. The basic element of tennis ball is called rubber, and that is an elastic polymer. Tennis racket, that's the thing you hit the ball with. Again, not all the tennis rackets are the same. Sometimes it changes its weight, the length, or the size. And the tennis shoes are designed to give players better stability and prevent them from sliding while moving sideways. The next one. Okay.
Well, the point system. So in points, when there is 0 points, it's called love. So the first point is 15, the second point is 30, and the third point is 40. In order to win a game, you need the player has to win 4 points. So sometimes when 2 players get 40-40, that's called deuce. In that case, the servers who wins the next point gets an advantage in. And when the receiver gets the next point, it's called advantage out. In that case, there is 1 point left because they have to win for 2 points. So next one, please. Oh, okay. I want to add this. So the winner has to win. In order to win, a player has to get 6 games to win a set, and a set requires a difference of 2 games. And after, for a player to win, needs 2 sets to win a match. Okay, next, please. The next topic is the tennis courts. So grass courts. Grass courts have become more common, even though they are so difficult to maintain. Their surface of grass courts is slippery, which makes the ball bounce faster and lower to the ground. Clay courts. They are generally made of crushed shell stone or brick or other unbound material aggregate. It makes the balls bounce slower and higher, favoring strong baseline players who play with a lot of top spin. This kind of clay of courts can be found in the Roland Garros tournament. Hard courts. They are generally made of synthetic or acrylic layers laid on top of a concrete or asphalt foundation. With hard courts, the game is easier to control because the bounce of the ball is quite predictable. You can find this type of courts in the US Open and Australian Open. Next slide, please. And finally, the Grand Slam. It's constituted by the 4 major official tournaments of the international circuit organized by the International Tennis Federation, which are the Australian Open, the Roland Garros, the Championships, Wimbledon, and the US Open. Well, this is all for today. I hope you found interesting our presentation, and I hope you can join us today to trying to play with us tennis. Thank you.
Okay. Manuel, Diego, and Manuela, thank you very much. Thank you for the introduction. Thank you for the ending. It was noticeable that you had extra information besides the info on the slides. Just a few things of pronunciation. Diego and Manuela, equipment, and also for the other groups, guys, the person in charge, remember to say the word equipment, formalized. That would be it. Well, thank you, guys. Let's move faster because we are taking more time than expected. Let's go to group number 9. We have Mendy and Hamilton. In this case, they will talk about boxing.
Okay, teacher.
Mandy, can you show the presentation, please?
Yes.
While they get ready, My coordinator sent a message. She says that some of you guys haven't sent the survey. Entonces, me escribieron, faltan Jaimes, Ortiz Álvarez, Ortiz Fuerero, Rincón y Zambrano, para que lo tengan en cuenta. Okay, that is the presentation. Let's begin.
Teacher. You can see the presentation.
Yes.
Okay. Good evening,
But Mandy, your camera
classmates.
is not working.
Okay. Is working?
It is now.
Listo.
Okay.
Okay, teacher. Good evening, classmates and teacher. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to present the English project about the boxing. I am Mendy Santa and my classmate is Hamilton Peña. The first part of this project is about the history of the boxing. The boxing have a long history that can be traced back to the infancy of mankind in the cradle of civilization, known as Mesopotamia. Ancient artifacts from stone tablets to intricate base paintings reference boxing and the type of glove developed and used. The initial boxing gloves were nothing more than long, thin leather straps. Next, Hamilton Peña with the timeline.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Mandy. In this case, I can speak about the line time. In first, this sport has existed for many years. Below, you can see discoveries from different time periods, such as frescoes on base or walls. For example, in the year 500 before Christ, there is a blood figure amphora depicting two boxers with soft tone applied to only one hand, for example. There are also terracotta relief and particular oblong figure cup. All these are archaeological findings about the sport. Can you present the next slide, please? Mendy, el micrófono.
Okay. In the second part of this timeline, you can see in the 13th century, the Muay Thai or Thailand boxing appears. Another important event is in 18th century, the modern boxing appears. For example, in 1867, John Sultan introduced a new code of 12 rules that has survived to this day. And finally, in 2022, American David Haney managed to be crowned the youngest undisputed champion in history.
In this part, we can talk about the rules, and there are six. Six are the most important. For example, the first one is the measures of the ring. For example, 5.48 meters. The second is mandatory equipment. It's necessary to fight The tier is boxing points. You can get points by your hits and your dodge. And if you fall down twice, you will lose twice points, etc. The four is the categories. There are a lot, for example, minimal, light fly, super lightweight. The last one is heavyweight. In the 5-point, hits allowed and prohibited. For example, hits below the waist to the kidneys or to the back of the head are not allowed. And about the rounds, the round or assaults in a fight go from 4 to 12. Duration is for men 3 minutes, for women 2 minutes. The micro, please, Mandy.
Okay, so in this part, I'm going to talk about the special equipment. The first is boxing short of or trunks, t-shirt or tank top. Another special equipment is boxing gloves, mouth guard, hat guard, and ring shoes.
Important tournaments. There are 4, is the most important. In first place, World Boxing Association, founded in the United States. The next slide, please. The second is World Boxing Council, one of the most prestigious organizations for boxing. It has over 140 countries with their flags represented on the awarding belt. The next slide, please. World Boxing Organization, with recognized professional boxing world champions, and International Boxing Federation creates in different regional titles throughout the United States and other countries. To give young boxers the opportunity to participate.
Okay, in the last part, you can see here the top 5 greatest boxer of all time. In the top 5 is Muhammad Ali. He was the greatest boxer. In the top 4, Sugar Ray Robinson. Robinson was 85 to 0 as an amateur with 69 of those victories coming by way of knockout. In the 3rd place, Rocky Marciano. He was the only heavyweight champion in boxing history.
Additionally, Joe Louis was heavyweight champ for 140 consecutive months, and including 25 successful defense or records for the division. The next, please. Mike Tyson, he was the youngest ever heavyweight champ ever and won his first 37 fights before being upset by James Buster Douglas in 1890. In conclusion, the sport boxing has a long history. It is practiced in different countries, and this sport has a lot of millions of followers. Thank you for your time. It's all.
Okay, guys.
Today, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for respecting the time as well. Introduction, the ending, the transitions. Just again, some aspects of pronunciation. Traced and greatest, Mandy. Hamilton, in your case, prohibited, recognized, and titles. It's the titless in a moment. But okay. Guys, thank you very much for sharing your information about boxing. Let's continue. The next group is going to be group number 5. Natalia and Jessica, they are in charge of sharing about cycling. Escribieron que los que no han enviado la encuesta, que por qué no la han enviado. I know that you're paying attention to the presentation of your classmates. Of course, that's the reason why. But if you can send that before 8 p.m. would be great. But let's wait for group number 5. There is Natalia. Let's wait for Jessica.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen.
Okay.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Good evening. Let me introduce myself. My name is Natalia Navarro and my classmate Jessica Rios. Today we are talking about cycling. Here we have the table of contents. We are talking about what is the cycle, cycling history, rules, uniform and special equipment, important tournaments, important people in cycling and global records. So cycling sport is a competitive activity using bicycles. There are several categories of bicycle, and that include road bicycle, racing, cycle cross, mountain bike, racing, track cycling, BMX, and cycling speedway. About the history, bicycle was invented in 1790 by the Frenchman de Cibrac. Cycling as a sport officially began on May 31 in 1868 with 1,200 meter race between the fountains and the entrance of Saint-Cloud Park near to Paris. And the first road race was in 1970 in Italy, from Florence to Pistoia. And about the rules, there are the basic rules. Always drive to the right end of the road. Always pass the other cyclists to the left. Raise your hand in case you need any assistance. Refrain from using headphones or musical playback device. Always wear a helmet. Always bring a contact phone number with you in case of an emergency, and always carry your name identification at an adhesive with your bloody type.
Okay, and informant and especially equipment is very necessary. Buy helmet, clipped shoes, gloves, cycling glasses, cycling jersey, beads white waistband, waterproof jacket, and socks. Okay, let's. Okay. And important tournaments in the world is the Tour de France, Giro de Italia, Vuelta a España. Important tournaments in Colombia is the Vuelta a Colombia, Tour Colombia, and National Cycling Championship. And important people in cycling is the Eddie Merckx, and nickname is the Cannibal. Pastor Copy, the nickname is the second champion Sismo. Bernard Hinault, the nickname is the Badger. Lance Amos Strong, Peter Sagan, Julian Alaphilippe, Nairo Quintana, Chris Froome, Egan Bernal. And to conclude this presentation, I will talk about some world records like Jenny Ground in support around the world in 155 days. Mark Beaumont support around the world in 78 days, 14 hours and 40 minutes. Lloyd Collier and Louis Senegrove seeking support around the world in 281 days. And Ed Pratt including supporting around the world in 3 years, 135 days. And this is the end of the presentation, and thanks for the
attention.
attention.
I just wanted to help you a little bit, Jessica. Okay, good. Natalia and Jessica, thank you very much. Well, just a few things, pronunciation. All of you guys talking about the good aspects first, as of course, the introduction and the ending, all the parts were presented. Natalia, basic devices, some reading a little bit from the information that you shared. Jessica, in a moment you said cycling, maybe you were nervous, it will be cycling, cannibal. In the numbers, you said 156, but the number in the slide was 124. And just like to keep it for the future, if there are like weird names and weird last names, check them first, so that you don't have to suffer like with Esteban Piripipipipi during the presentation. But ladies, of course, the information was well presented. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ivy.
Thank you. Let's continue. Let's move now to group number 2. We have Maria Alejandra and Karen Juliet. Group number 2 will share some information about baseball.
Okay, teacher. Good night, everyone. Tonight, with my classmate Maria Alejandra Vega and I, Karen Juliet Torres, we are going to talk about baseball. Baseball is a famous sport game in the United States, but people don't know where it started to play it. Baseball history. Maria, can you show us the next slide, please? Thank you. Baseball history started as an involved game from older bat and ball games already being played in England by the middle 18th century. Bat and ball was brought by immigrants to North America, where the modern version developed baseball. But Abner Doubleday is considered the person who brought baseball to America. And now, Maria is going to talk about baseball rules.
Okay, rules. Baseball has several rules, among which are to play with 2 teams with 9 players on each team. The main objective of baseball is to hit a small round ball with a bat to move it across the field and run across the field with the goal of reaching as many bases as possible. There are 3 total bases in the entire field. When a player completes a full lap of the field and returns to the base from which he batted, he scores a run. The team that makes the most runs in the entire game is the winner. Another important rules to win the games are 1, the home team starts playing defense. Two is if a batter misses hitting the ball, he accumulates a strike. After 3 strikes on his turn, the player is out. You must return to the dugout. 3. If the batter hits the ball and it's land in the first zone, he becomes a runner. You must put down the bat and try to reach first base. And 4. If the batter hits the ball and it leaves in the first zone, it is declared a home run. And now Karen is going to talk about baseball equipment.
A baseball player needs good equipment to play and take care of own body from injuries. So players need to wear gloves, cleats, batting helmets, and the person who is catcher needs to wear a chest protector, leg guards, knee savers, and catcher's mitt. And of course, it's important don't forget the ball and bat. We are almost finished, so Maria is going to continue with the baseball championships.
Okay, baseball championships. The championships that have been most famous in history are on the one hand, the Mayans with World Baseball Classic, what was in Los Angeles in 2016. The winner were the US team, the second WBSC Premier 12, what was in Tokyo in 2015. The winners were the South Korea team. The third U23 Baseball World Cup was what was in Monterrey in 2016. The winners were the Japan team. Next, U18 Baseball World Cup was what was in Osaka in 2015. The winner were the US team. The last was U15 Baseball World Cup, what was in Iwaki in 2016. The winners were the Cuba team. To end is the Women's Championships. Baseball Women's World Cup, what was in Edmonton in 2012. The winners were the Japan team. We finished the presentation with the players presented by my classmate Karen.
Okay, Maria, can you show us the, thank you. And finally, the most important players in the World League are Babe Ruth, Mikey Mantle, Ted Williams, Willie Mays, and Hank Aaron. As you can see on the slide, there are some important things they did. For example, Hank Aaron, he is famous for setting the record for most home runs in a career. And Willie Mays, he finished his career with 660 home runs. And that is all for our presentation. Thank you guys for listening to us.
Okay, ladies, Karen and Maria, thank you very much. As you also noticed, we had the introduction, we had transitions, and we also had a clear ending of the presentation. Probably at the beginning, Maria read a little bit, but then during the development of the presentation, you showed a little bit more of control, but in some parts you read. Remember the pronunciation of equipment. In a moment, Maria says equipment, and then Karen says equipment. It's equipment. And the word career. But of course, ladies, it was great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, teacher.
Okay. Let's continue. We have 2 groups left. We have just the perfect amount of time. Let's go with group number 7. Beatriz and Marlon we'll talk about volleyball.
Okay, Miss. Sorry for you are listening by my call. I sick.
Okay, don't worry. At least.
Okay. Okay. Can you see the presentation?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Good night. We talk about volleyball. Our group is conformed by Beatriz Pedraza and Marlon Sanchez. So we will start talking about a little of the history of the volleyball, who and when was created. So in 1985, William G. Morgan, an instructor at the Young Men Christian Association in Ilioque, decided to blend elements of basketball, baseball, tennis, and handball to create a game for his classmate of businessman. Initially, he was named this game Mintonete, but during a demonstration, they told him that the balls volley on the net described the game better, and his name changed to volleyball. So in 1986, the first exhibition match of volleyball is played at Springfield College, and 1947, the FIB was founded, and the 1964, the volleyball has converted in Olympic sport. And in 1965, the California Beach Volleyball Association was formed. And the 20th century, the Cuban women's team dominated both the World Championship and Olympics.
Okay. The next slide, I will be talking about the rules. The rules are important because it depends of giving points to the teams. I don't forget you say it exists two types the games. The first is beach volleyball and floor volleyball. In this case, we are talking about floor volleyball. These rules, the principal rule is in the court excites only 12 players. Each call play six players, sorry, and other 6 players are on the beach or the bench. The coach adds 6 players on the bench because for change other player or strategy or if a player injured. In the game, there are 6 player positions. The first is a service. For general, the game begins or service continue when the point and the set. Next, it is a catch. Catch is a libero that this can reside of the server. The libero is player designed by the team to replace any player. In all the time. sorry. Cedar is illegal to catch, hold, push, or throw the ball. It must be rebound or hit. And here, a player cannot block or attack a serve from or inside in the team foot line. Unblocker, it is a permit to penetrate into the opponent's core. On defense, the players may not hit the ball twice in succession. Other rule important, player may not hit the ball twice, any player. Ball hitting a boundary lines is line. It is legal to contact the ball with any party of the player's body. The players have only 3 contacts with ball, otherwise point for the other team. The other rule, the ball is important. The circumference is 65 to 78 centimeters. It's slighter than the Super Bowl with a weight between 2016 and 2008 grams. To win the match, you have to win 3 sets. When you play 3 sets, 5 sets, sorry. When you play three sets, you win only two sets. The side set is played to 15, with a difference of 2 points. The rotation is important when you can see the opposite. When the side team wins, the server is played rotated clockwise. Okay. The next, Marlon.
Okay. So for you game volleyball, you don't need a lot of equipment. Basically, do you need a ball, of course, and the net, shorts and t-shirts, shoes especially for the game, have a stability to get a sure footed, its foundation, and an impact of shock absorption is the most important characteristic for the shoes, and slips in forearm to avoid burns with the ball, and pads for knees, and it's only equipment do you need.
Okay. The special tournaments in this moment, the best tournament are Olympic Games. The next continue PIBB World Language and World Grand Champions Cup. It's other tournaments because, for example, tournaments location. For example, college, university. I had experience with participate volleyball in my university 10 years ago. Next, the important people equipment. I say for Gilberto Alejandro de Gudi Filo, sorry, is more now with Giva. It's considered the best player of volleyball, a 3-time Olympic medalist. He enjoyed his greatest moment at Athens 2004 or 2004, where he experienced Brazil to volleyball gold, give a ball 23rd December 1976. He's Brazilian. He played in Brazil, Italy, Russia, Argentina, and briefly in the United Arab Emirates. sorry. The next player, Marlon.
The next player is
Hey
Carl
guys,
Kirali.
unfortunately, I have to stop you now. This
Okay.
already, time's already up. Thank you very much for sharing. I know that you were about to finish, but we have just the amount of time for the two final groups. Careful with time, guys. As the things related to pronunciation, Beatriz, you said beach, but you were talking about the bench en la banca. Receive, you said deposit, but you mean slide. Deposit doesn't exist to say diapositiva, okay?
Okay.
And the pronunciation of tournaments. And Marlon, well, Marlon, you started with good night. Good night is to say goodbye. To say like hello would be good evening, right? And
Okay.
conform, you say for you game, would be for you to play. Para jugar, no para juego. ¿Listo? Guys, well, sorry for the interruption, but thank you very much for the presentation. Let's continue with group number 4. Group number 4, we have Steven, Sergio, and Valentina Ortiz. Guys, you are going to talk about football. Guys?
Yes, sure. But no.
Okay. Okay, that's the presentation.
Okay, Sergio, Valentina, you ready?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Good evening, classmate. Good evening, teacher. Well, you already know who we are, Valentina, Santiago, my person, and Sergio. We are going to talk to you about the soccer. So, well, Sergio, please, the next diapositive. About the soccer. It's not just a sport, it's art, it's life. The soccer is a team sport played between two sets of 11 players each team, while the referees make sure that the rules are followed correctly. The object of the game is to put the ball as many times as possible into the opponent's goal. Apart of that, it's considered the world's most popular sport played by some 270 million of people. Next, please. Thank you. Okay, now here we have the name of Luis Figo, who is considered one of the best right strength players in the history of the sport. He once said, "Soccer doesn't forgive, you have to be the best every day." It's a motivational sentence. And next to we have a short video where we can watch a little part of the Maracanazo. When it was a final FIFA World Cup, one of the most famous, because, well, in this final, the Uruguay selection team defeated 2-1 to the Brazil selection, contrary over pronostic. Please, next. Now, about the history. Records trace the origins of the sport back more than 2,000 years ago to ancient China and Greece and Rome, where the ball was made of rock or animal hide stuffed with air. There have even been suggestions it dates even further back to old Mesoamerican cultures, but football or soccer as we know it today has its roots in 9th century England. From England, the idea of football spread to Europe and crossed the Atlantic, and well, next to school teachers August Hermann and Konrad Koch introduced the game to Germany in 1874. Meanwhile, the immigrants are thinking how bring the soccer to the United States. And next, please. Now we'll continue talking about the rules of the play and link it with the relevant marks that you are watching in the picture at this moment. So please, Sergio, Korean.
Okay, yes, about the rules. The first we have the kick. The kick draw is made, and the winning team may take the kick or keep
Sorry,
the sides
Sergio,
of the
to
court.
interrupt you, but I only see like your eyebrows. I don't really see your face. Could you move your, or yes, thank you.
Okay, teacher.
Thank you.
Okay, the other is the goal, but the goal is the space between two posts in which the goal will be valid. The other is the throw-in when the ball leaves the area. Whoever touches it first must throw the ball with his hands. The other is offside position. Uh, that means it's any part of the body is in the opponent's half. As you know, we have in the field two. And the other, there is one, and the other is the same. Any part of the body is nearer to the opponent's goal line than both the ball and the second last opponent. The corner kick. The corner kick is when the balls go out, and in special in in the near the goal with no restrictions on the position of the players. The other is the free kick. The free kick is when you have a fault with the opponent, and we have the normal fault, and it's no kicking and no throwing or holding an opponent with the hands. And the other is when you throw the ball with your hands and not make we pass to another player. The only player who can do that is a goalkeeper. And about the uniform or the equipment, and we have jersey, shorts with the team colors and other things. Valentina is going to talk. Okay, the best soccer players. We have three: Lionel Andres Messi, Pelé, and Cristiano Ronaldo. Messi has won a record that is 7 Ballon d'Or awards. He won a club record, 35 trophies. And as you know, he won the 2021 Copa America and 2022 FIFA World Cup. And Pelé is the best with the goals. And as you know, 1,279 goals in 1,363 games. That includes friendlies and competitive uh, matches. And there is a Guinness World Record. And he's the only player to win 3 FIFA World Cups. And Cristiano Ronaldo, he has won 5 Ballon d'Or awards, 32 trophies, and considered the top goal scorer of all the time. Okay, about the equipment, we have a soccer jersey with the colors of the team, soccer shorts, the socks, and the soccer boots. The other is to protect you is shin guard, and for the goalkeepers, the gloves, and as you know, the soccer ball and the captain flag. So continue with Valentina.
In this diapositive, the science and match broadcasts were seen years ago. Can you next, please? Choosing the best teams in the history of soccer is not easy, but for more than 100 years that this sport has been playing, there are unforgettable teams that have marked era by their littles or by their way of revolution the game. So here is a list of those who are considered the most important teams in the soccer thanks to their great trajectory. Real Madrid, Barcelona, Manchester, mm, ah, Liverpool, había anotado, pero no sale. Can you next, please? The most valuable trophy in the world of sport correspond to that of the FIFA World Cup. This trophy was designated in the 1917 by Silvio Gazzaniga and represents the shape of two woman bottles.
Well, Valentina, I'm
holding the
sorry. I have to interrupt you, though. I know that you were about to finish, but time is already up. Guys, thank you very much. Well, Santiago, you made the correction from diapositive slide. Thank you. Pronunciation of defeated, and instead of selection in this context, is better to use team. Okay. Sergio, in a moment you said only two players to win, only like two players to win in one of the parts. And with Valentina, you actually didn't have like much time to cover your part. Soccer, careful with the pronunciation, valuable, and in the final part talking about the trophies we designed. But guys, thank you for the information that you shared. And we finish with group number 8. Group number 8. Here we have Sebastián and Kiara Martinez. Guys, they will talk about Tejo. And with you guys, we finish tonight's task. Okay. I don't know if someone is speaking, but I can't hear any voice.
Hi, teacher.
Hello, Yara.
Okay.
Yara, please begin.
Okay. Hi, classmates and teacher. And we, Sebastián Pavón and Kiera Martinez, have come to talk to you about Tejo, the native national sport in Colombia. First, I'm going to talk you about history. And the first name of Tejo was Turmeque, like Cacique Turmeque, and the town where it was born. And the natives considered the Tejo a tribute to the sun. Actually, the first digs of Tejo were made in gold. Although Tejo was born 500 years ago, the Tejo was about nationally since 1954, and it was accepted as a national sport and cultural heritage in 2000. Next, I'm going to learn to you a few about rules.
Okay, the rules about Tejo are very easy. Tejo is played with two teams with 5 players from each team, but also it could play individually or pairs. Each team should throw the Tejo towards the target, and the game will finish when a team matches with 21 points. There are 4 kinds of scores in Tejo. You should say the name of the score, not the points. First, we have the hand consisting on the shuffleboard is closest to the horn, and the end of a round is equal to 1 point. Second, we have the measure is equal to 3 points and only occurs when a player exploits the measure. Third is care embocinada and occurs when the tejo has impact inside the target without exploding measure. This is equal to 6 points. And finally, we have Muñona is equal to 9 points when the player has a hit and bull's edge in the same throw.
Special equipment. This is the play area, and you can see that there are 2 bull eye area, and each bull's eye area are separate for 12.5 meters. Next, the bull's eye area, we can see the aims. They are the bocine and mecha. Finally, the most important equipment are the tejo and the elements for cleaning. And the tejo is made in steel because it is cheaper than gold. And the elements for cleaner are the fique pieces. And we never shouldn't forget our culture.
Okay, and now we look at some important tournaments. We have 3 and they are as follows. First, we have the first national tournament. The second is a Tejo American Cup. And third is the national championship. Okay, next. In this day, here in this table, we can see the teams and national level with their number of victories. First, we have Cundinamarca, followed by Bogota, Valle del Cauca, and Tolima. And in the fifth position, our department, Santander, with 4 victories. Thanks. And finally, we have the most important players in this sport. On the men's side, we have Jose Vicente Reyes. And the women's side, we have Merly Menes. If you want to learn about Tejo, you could visit the following websites. And thank you everyone for listening.
Okay, guys, thank you very much for sharing your information, in this case, talking about Tejo. Well, guys, thank you for all your effort. I know this wasn't easy. You have been working really hard. Well, in terms of like mini corrections for Kiara and Sebastian. Well, Kiara, pronunciation of native and 2 verbs in past participle. You said it was accepted and are separated. That would be just it. Guys, everybody did a really good job. Just probably for the project in B.1 that it's starting from that part, remember to be careful with time. Guys, remember that tomorrow we are going to have our final exam. Please be on time. We're going to start at 6 I'm going to give you the word in a moment, Santiago. The idea is to start at 6 sharp, take attendance, and then the exam starts. So you can use all the amount of time that it is supposed to be provided. Yes, Santiago.
Yeah, teacher, it's a question about the virtual activities. I started yesterday, and so I want to ask you, only there are the 4 modules, 11, the 6 and 7 activities of each one, true?
Yes, and the form. Okay. Well, guys, that would be it. Any other question? Okay. Okay, see you tomorrow for our final exam. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you, everybody.